on the Screws Podcast, episode number 101. Bryce and I want to thank everybody who's been tuning into the pod, listen to episode number 100 and the 99 prior, and just all the support we've been getting. Support from today's episode comes from TrueClassicTees.com. Using the promo code OTS Golf, you can get 25% off plus free shipping at TrueClassicTees.com. Get their activewear, some of the polos, some of the chinos, great stuff for fall golf at TrueClassicTees.com using the promo code OTS Golf, 25% off plus free shipping. Enjoy the pod.
3 shots, 4 par, I just do 2, 1 putt, par 4, birdie, woohoo, new driver, info, replace, M2, par 5, fairway, what you fin do, think I'll try to get on, into, start right, good line, good view, hit Drew, shoot him, McGavin,
So thanks for joining us. Andy Walker, men's head coach of Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU, creator and founder of the Dubline Inaugural Black College Coaches Association player, the Coach of the Year, 2022 A-10 Coach of the Year, 1997 NCAA champ at Pepperdine University, Big Break Ireland, former PGA Tour player and web.com player. Andy Walker is joining us here. Thank you. Did I get through that okay?
And hey, let's keep going through. And
What do we got? What do we got? So, oh, wait, hold on. And now a D1 winner.
There we go. How about that?
All right. Okay. And father and just all around good guy. So returning pod. Well, that was probably a year and a half ago that we first chat. So we can just jump right into it. Maybe give us an update on what's going on with you. You're at Lynn before, and a little bit of changes in your world now.
Yeah, moved up to Virginia, had a great opportunity up here at VCU. Was entertaining a few D1 programs, and this one kind of led the charge from the whole, from the moment this one opened, this was the one I wanted. And a bunch of like-minded people up here from the AD, Ed McLaughlin, to all of the courses and resources, and just everyone in the athletic department was great, and they all had a real winning mindset and expected excellence. And so, I jumped on board, and now we're into year 2, and I couldn't be more stoked to get into this season.
So if you're listening to us in the car and not watching us over on YouTube, we got Bryce here too. Welcome, Bryce.
What's going on?
So, what was the transition like for you, A-Dub? I've known Andy for like a little while now, so A-Dub's a nickname. That comes from like the dub line kind of thing. So we talked about that a little bit on the last pod. I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit here. But what was that transition like for you? Like, is there any big difference between going from, D2 to D1? Anything that really sticks out for you?
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's at the D2, we were the top dog. We're the best team in the country. We just come off a national championship. And in the top of D2, there's probably 10 to 12 teams that are kind of elite, and then there's a little bit of parity after that. And here at the D1 level, I mean, you've got 150 teams that are really good, right? So you always say when you're at the D2, like, oh, if I had that team at the D1, I'd have them a top 5 team in the year, right? And it's like you get here and it's like, how do we crack that top 100, right? So, so there's so many really good players here. Obviously, the budgets are a lot bigger. The impact on the school may be the same, but it's just at a grander stage, right? So, I mean, it's like everyone in Richmond, when you go to the golf courses, they all know that you're VCU's coach, and it means something. There's a lot of alumni at all the golf courses that we go to, so it's a pretty big deal. And so it's just, everything is just kind of magnified. I think that the amount of good players, good players are good players anywhere. A guy that's going to shoot 67 D2 may shoot 67 D1, but there's just going to be a lot more of them here. I just think the whole atmosphere is a lot bigger, and it's a fun deal.
Before we get like into the season and stuff, is there anything that you notice with the players that's different? Is it consistency, like you say, like you were just saying there?
Not really. I would just think depth. I just think there's more of them. There's good players everywhere. I mean, there's a D3, there's an NAIA player, there's a JUCO player somewhere that's going to shoot 65 on your tail every day, right? It's just he may be the only one at his school, or there may have only a couple in that conference or in that region division. At this level, the eighth, ninth man on a team can whoop your tail playing golf, right? He can go out and shoot 65 at any given moment. So I just think it's the amount of players, and I think the resources as well, right? Like we've got a lot of great golf courses that we play at. We're building a new facility for the team as well, and so I just think the amount of support and everything is a lot bigger, which leads to getting more players.
Do you guys have a home track, like a home course that you play out of, or do you kind of jump around for a few?
Yeah, we play quite a bit. We do have our home course is Country Club of Virginia. So it's a great golf course. We played the Champions Tour players Dominion Energy there. So CCV we're at on Wednesdays and Fridays. Today we went and played Jefferson Lakeside Country Club, which is the Donald Ross design golf course. We played there today. We played Willow Oaks, which is a great private club that's about 10 minutes from campus. Um, I had lunch yesterday with a legend, Vinny Giles, and so Vinny's one of the great amateurs in the history of the game. I mean, this dude's won every USGA title there is, and so he built Kinlock, which is like Augusta, and so we're going to take the team out there. We play Royal New Kent, we play Vinatera. I mean, we've got access. We play Meadowbrook. I mean, there's so many golf courses. I don't want to leave any out. We visit quite a bit. I just took the team up 2 hours on Saturday up north to Northern Virginia. A buddy of mine, Pat McGuire, owns a golf course called Raspberry Falls Golf and Hunt Club, and so we went up there, and I just think there's just more access, and so we have a lot of places. A place to play is not ever a problem for us.
That's awesome.
I like it. And then rolling in with 7 guys that are going to fire 65 or below on any given day is a little bit intimidating, definitely, but it's pretty cool. So you guys are in the A-10. I mentioned there my quick elongated bio. Andy Walker, A-10 2022 Coach of the Year. How's the division? How's it shaping up for you guys? You started off kind of hot. You're one event in, just a single event so far, right? The VCU Shootout.
That's right, VCU Shootout. It was good. I mean, A-10, one of our A-10, a couple A-10 teams were in it as well. George Washington had a good tournament. We only beat them by a shot, on our last hole. So they're going to be a formidable opponent this year. They got a really good young team. Chuck has done a great job over there. Richmond, which is only 15, 20 minutes from us, they're solid. They've got pretty much the same lineup they had last year, just a year older. They had a good shootout. They just struggled a little bit in the first round, but kind of, showed who they were the second, third rounds, and had a couple good rounds. I think they shot maybe 11 under both rounds, second, third, and so Davidson is always good. I believe they may have just won their home tournament as well. So it's going to be, I'm looking forward to seeing a good, strong A-10 championship, and hopefully multiple teams at NCAA regionals from the A-10 this year.
How many teams are in the A-10 total?
It would probably make sense for me to say 10. Hence it. But
fair enough.
But to be honest, how many are playing golf? Because not every team, there's some that are just have certain sports in it. I should know that answer. So let's go with, I'm gonna say 11, and probably lying at that. Right?
I was looking at like the photo that you guys posted or on the VCU page, and the scores, like I think you had 2 guys shoot. One of them went really low. One of them had a 62 or something on the card, I think, in the tournament, right?
No, not in the tournament, but in qualifying.
Okay.
When we were posting some of the stuff on social media, yeah, we had one of our transfers, Jace Hargrove from Texas Tech, just a stud, one of the best kids you'll ever meet in your life. I mean, just a great human being, and can flat play. I mean, this kid hits it a country mile, and so during qualifying, he decided to go ahead and finish off the first qualifier. We're shooting a little 63 just to let everybody know that he's here. And he hasn't stopped since. I mean, he played solid during the VCU shootout. I think he shot 69, 69, 68, and played mediocre, to be honest. So
I watched that clip, and he was like, "Yeah, I didn't have my best stuff," and it's just like, man, like that's it's nice to be able to say that when you have that in your game, right? But
that's right.
So we were kind of talking with Parker about this a little bit. Anything different with the D1 level? You guys typically play 5 players, take the top 4 scores on each separate day?
Yep. So you play 5 count 4, save at every level, right?
Right.
That's pretty much your standard, collegiate format. Um, probably hopping on a few more planes than you would be at other, levels.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think this year we've got a really cool schedule. We're going to see a lot of different teams. Last year we saw a lot of the same teams. Really stayed kind of more regional, and I got a chance to branch out and was pretty successful early in creating a good schedule for the guys. So we've had our home event. We're going to go up and play TPC Potomac next week, which is cool. I mean, another difference is, we've got a couple guys on the PGA Tour that are winners that have played at VCU. So, John Rollins and Rafa Campos and Lanto Griffin.
Lanto Griffin, I just saw that. Yeah, that was.
Yeah. So Lanto yesterday takes a couple hours out of his day, and we FaceTime with him for 2 hours, and he walks through TPC Potomac with us because he had a good tournament there and almost won there this year. So his insight, we're going through his yardage book and our yardage book, and he's telling us where to hit it and different pins. So stuff like that's invaluable to the guys, and for them to create a relationship, build a relationship with him, but also the knowledge that he has of playing, obviously a PGA Tour event there and being successful. I feel like we go in with kind of a 15th club.
Yeah, that's such a cool, like, that'd be such a cool thing being a college athlete and getting to see somebody who's kind of taking that next level, right? And we're kind of talking last couple weeks back now, but just recently Bryce and I had a chat with he's the St. Louis Blues developmental goalie coach, so he's kind of saying a lot of the same things with, like, what it takes to kind of get to that next level, and guys kind of, getting that point and that mental aspect of being able to see that, right? So when you get to have that conversation, go through it with a guy like Lanto Griffin, one of the best players in the world, right? That's invaluable to you as a coach too, I'm sure, right? So
it is. I mean, what if it just saves you, a shot around, right? Every golf tournament comes down to a golf shot. One stroke, one good decision, or the momentum that comes from that good decision. I mean, it's you have no idea what that's going to do for us until we get there. So I was all ears. I was probably taking more notes than anyone else yesterday, and soaking it up. So it was it was just a real cool experience for the guys as well.
So
I got a question for you quick.
go ahead.
Just going into tournaments and stuff, how challenging is it for you, because you're so deep, to pick those top 5 that are playing that week? I mean, that must be pretty challenging, because I know we talked to a couple college guys and they say, like, it's so competitive. Like, yeah, he's your teammate, but you also want to play every week. It's obviously a tough choice for you, yeah.
It is tough because I've got 7 guys on this team that I really like. Right. So that means possibly this tournament coming up, there's going to be 2 guys that aren't traveling. Right. And so luckily the first tournament, all 7 played because we had a couple individuals, but one of the guys that I didn't pick that played really good in the qualifying, just the other guys maybe eked him out by a couple of shots, was our low man in the tournament. Right. He shot 11 under as an individual. So, it's so what he did was he earned his way into this tournament coming up. Right now, he doesn't have to qualify for this one. He qualified by playing good in the tournament. So, my thing is, if I tell players, if you're waiting for a pick from me, you're probably going to be disappointed. Just go out and beat the other guy's tails during qualifying or in the tournament, and take it out of my hands. Take your destiny in your own hands. And so, it's a good question. I get asked that a lot because qualifying's tough. There's good qualifiers and there's good tournament players, right? And so you've got to find really the good tournament players, right? Not someone that might be so comfortable at home and you're playing a golf course that suits their game every day.
Yeah.
They're gonna go out and find a way to shoot 3 or 4 under every day, anyways. Who are the guys that may handle adversity in a new golf course and new setting a little bit different? So that's kind of the, I guess the secret sauce is, how do you find those players and develop the other players that may not be that into those players. And so that's why I do like that we have a smaller team. Everyone's going to see a lot of playing time.
Yeah, and your 5 guys are changing every week, right? Or every tournament, I guess.
Yeah, they could. I mean, this week they will. So George was an individual last week, and he's definitely in the lineup. So there will be some change in that lineup, right? And so then the tournament after that, Purdue, we're going to take 6. So there'll be one individual playing. And so, you know, I hope it's competitive and it changes a lot this year, to be honest. I hope there's that, you know, I hope
you
that,
want that for
that's
sure.
right. I hope that the guy that's playing 7 plays 1. And, you know, and so it's a, you know, that they're kind of fighting and pushing each other.
Yeah.
So
I got a bit of a 2-part question for you, but when you're talking qualifiers, like, you mean you guys get out and play like a qualifying round, and that's kind of what you base your assessment off of?
yeah. So we
like leading up.
What we did for the first tournament was we played 2 54-hole tournaments, right? So my deal was I want the guys getting used to winning. So to get into the qualifying, to qualify for a tournament, you had to win a qualifier. There was no second place gets in, third place gets in. It was whoever wins the first qualifier gets in, whoever won the second qualifier got in, and then if you won the overall, you got in as well. Well, it happened to be that Jace won the first qualifier, Jace won the second qualifier, which means he won the overall, right? Mm-hmm. So it was, but it fell right down the line. You know, it was like the guy that finished second and third. So it was, you know, it kind of fell down the line. Sometimes if there's a shot or two difference and you feel like somebody's game may suit a golf course or a style of course a little bit better, you'll pick them over someone that they may have, you know, not beat in the qualifier. But for the most part, you know, it's like, hey, go play and beat that person, and then you pick your spot. So yeah.
So like, as the coach, ultimately it's your decision who gets in, who gets out.
Right.
So do you ever have any influence, like, based on what course you're playing, if you're playing like a Parkland style or something like that, versus like a little something that's more wide open for some of the longer hitters? Like, do you factor in a lot of that, or you just want to take whoever's hot is going to get in the lineup?
A little bit of both. I mean, you find out who's doing what. I mean, you know, for the first tournament, one of the only returning player I had from last year's team, he won the tournament last year. So guess what? If it was close with anybody, which it was, I was like, dude, you're playing. I know what you could do in that golf course. You shot 12 last year, right? So it's like I'm an idiot if I don't take you there. At least I know what you can do. And he came out the box, I think, with either 66 or 67 this year, the first round, right? And so it was, you know, so that paid off. But yeah, if there's a golf course that's a bomber's paradise, I may take, you know, him over someone that doesn't hit it as far. And if there's some place with really, really tricky greens or super fast greens, I may take someone who rolls it a little bit better. So, you know, I look at that. But at the end of the day, a good player is a good player. You know, it wasn't like Tiger only won in California. The dude won everywhere, right? So you can go, you can go.
Well, and we saw that same thing, like, even more recently with Colin Morikawa, right? Before he won the British Open or the Open Championship. It was, you know, he won PGA at a Parkland style course, and like, it was all that kind of like, that was what was tailor-made to his game, right? And then he went and won the Open Championship, and people kind of thought, okay, maybe like this guy is just like a pure ball striker, and he's just really, really good, right? He's just not fit for certain courses. Now, we were kind of talking with Parker a little bit about this. So the individual aspect of the game. So those guys, like your 7 guys in your roster, you got 5 playing in the team event, a couple go and play in the singles, or maybe just one, or if you don't have any. How do you, I guess, like decide who plays in the singles versus who plays in the team events?
It's the same thing through qualifying, right?
Yeah.
Your top 5 players are going to play for the team, and then the other guys will play for, you know, individual as an individual part of the tournament. And usually the individual part of the tournament, I mean, you're still part of the tournament. Obviously, you're not counting towards the team score, so even the guys in the team score are playing in the individual part, but you're just getting those guys reps, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? It's always going to come back and bite you in the butt. Whoever plays an individual is going to freaking career it.
Yeah.
Right? They're always going to shoot like 65, and I mean, it happens every week, and you know it's going to happen. And maybe it's because they're a little more free, right? There's not as much pressure from the team aspect of it, or they're trying to kind of prove coach wrong that, hey, I should have got that spot. Whatever the incentive is, I don't really care, right? Just go out and play your butt off and do what George did, right? Yeah. I told George at this tournament, hey, go win this golf tournament. So you're playing the next event. Don't worry about getting a pick from me. And he did that. He went and played really well. Didn't win, but gave himself a chance to, and shot 11 under. So guess what? Now he's playing, you know, next week's event.
Well, as a coach, like, you want to see that too, right? Like, you want to see that the guys are like able to kind of rebound from that, because well, we were talking kind of before we hopped on, golf is such a mental game. And like we were saying with these guys, all 7 of them being able to, fire a 65 on any given day, it's like, if one guy's off for a couple of weeks, it's going to affect his ability to play in the tournaments, right? It's going to like definitely take him out of the lineup. So as a
I think
coach,
that
yeah,
sorry, I think that's just human nature. I mean, every time I'd either get sad or yelled at on the bench in hockey, I'd play my best shift that next shift just because that's just human nature. It's how you react. You know, you get pushed, you push back.
And golf is so much, what have you done for me lately, right? I mean, you got to think about, this is the only game on earth that, Tiger was the number 1 player in the world for, 17 trillion weeks, and comes back and they couldn't get in a World Golf Championship event, right? Because he wasn't ranked high enough. And it's like, I was like, how is Tiger not exempt for an event, right?
yeah,
But this game doesn't care what you did,
yeah,
right? I mean, look at the players out there now. I mean, look at, Phil wins the freaking PGA last year at Kiowa, and the dude, like, right, he's the game's killing him right now, right? Everyone, I mean, he's not playing well. He's probably not in a great mental space, and this is a guy who won a major.
yeah. He fired a 66 the other day. I think in the final round, he fired a 66. He went low. Yeah. So he's coming around, but I think it was the first, I don't know. I don't like, don't quote me, but I think it was like the first 12 rounds he didn't break 75 or something.
Oh,
So,
I was gonna say,
yeah,
maybe that was his first round breaking 70 in a
yeah,
while.
it was tough. It has been a tough go for Phil. How's the schedule looking for you? You were saying, Andy, that you go through, you kind of pick the schedule. That's your job as the coach, kind of go through and see what's going to work for the team and kind of where you guys can fit and kind of map it out that way.
Yeah, so it's scheduling is one of the toughest things there is at being a college coach.
Yeah.
Probably even more so than recruiting, because you can't get into every good tournament, right? And so you got to play with, where you're ranked at, because they want the strongest, teams to help build the strength of field. Because the better strength of field, the more ranking points you're going to get, and the higher up the rankings you're going to get. And so it's kind of a catch-22. You want to get up the ranking points to play bigger events, but you can't get bigger events because you don't have enough. You're not ranked high enough. So, luckily, being 180 years old, I know a lot of people in this game and have played with a lot of the coaches. And so, we last year I inherited a schedule that was pretty solid. And we kind of upped the ante this year, and I told some guys, hey, help me get in some of these tournaments, and we'll perform good enough to be able to hang in those tournaments. And so we had a really good spring, and it helped us get into some tournaments, for this year. So the schedule is going to be really good. But there's a fine line of having a good schedule and not having a schedule that you can't compete in, right? You don't want to go play ASU, Oklahoma State, Georgia Tech every week, right? I mean, that's like, goodness, I want to win sometimes. So it's so you got to kind of pick and choose your battle. So scheduling is very important, and then also, within kind of your budget, and going to the West Coast. I'd love to go back and play with all my friends on the West Coast, and a lot of those West Coast events I know we can get in, but the travel is so hard.
Yeah.
Going from east to west is so tough getting back after a tournament. So it's, there's just a fine line on how do you do it and what's going to be the best for your team, help you in your rankings, help build their competitiveness, and ultimately get you ready for postseason play.
All right, we made it through 9, and this glizzy is brought to you by our friends over at Manscaped, manscaped.com. You can go over, check out the Ultra Premium Collection, or anything that you need to not suffer through the back 9 here. Using the promo code OTS Golf, you will get 20% off plus free shipping. And maybe you'll go low on the back. Thank you for supporting the episode. Thank you for supporting the pod. Manscaped.com, 20% off using the promo code OTS Golf. Free shipping right to your door. Enjoy the pod.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on like recruiting process. If I was looking to come, kind of play for your school, play golf for your school. I mean, just the process of kind of getting there and I guess just go through the whole recruitment process with us.
If I told you, I'd have to kill you, Bryce. I mean, it's top secret, classified. This will self-destruct in 10 seconds. Now, I don't have a real recruiting philosophy, to be honest. right? I'm not someone who recruits and commits players early. I never do. I've just never wanted to feel like I was rushed into making a decision with a player. And I know that the players like getting, making a decision early because it makes them feel more secure during the year, right? That they have a place to play. But um, I'm always kind of one of those good things come to those who wait, and there's always somebody better in the pipeline. Unless there's an absolute stud, then I'm going to get them as early as I can. But I've it's going to be different at different places, right? I've never really messed with the transfer portal before until this year, and I had a really great transfer portal experience this year. I mean, I've got three. I would say probably three of the best players that got in the transfer portal this year. And Jace Hargrove from Texas Tech, and George Saunders was the first player that I signed last semester. So I did get him early from University of Tennessee, and then early part of the summer, Matthias Varjan from Middle Tennessee State. And so, was that my philosophy before? No, but it became it here because of what I had to do with the team, and I'm not patient. I don't want to like wait 4 years to get a good team. So I was like, hey, we can get players that are already really good, college experience, bring a little leadership into here, and then I got a couple of just stud freshmen. A kid, Hugo Malcor from France, who's just a little monster. This kid's so good. He's like the top 40 player in all of Europe. Wow. Probably the best South American recruit from Chile, and Clemente Silva, and then a player from Boston who was down at IJGA Academy in Florida, and Zach Cologne. And so, Zach's playing really good right now. He's leading qualifying, after 2 rounds. And so, I would just say as a recruit, I've either seen you play before somewhere, or somebody that I trust a lot has told me how good you are, or I've seen you in the rankings somewhere high. I like guys that are playing a lot of either big international or very big amateur golf tournaments, right? And faring well against that. And my thing is, I want to see you beat some of the guys that we play against. So if you're a high school kid and you're playing amateur tournaments and you're beating a lot of college players, then guess what? I know you can beat college players. So I like ball strikers, right? So I'm probably going to take a really good ball striker over someone that just has a good short game. Not that I'm going to ever shy away from someone who can putt, but I like guys that can hit it. And so, but I take my time getting to know the players and making sure that it's a right fit. And so, in building the team this year, really the culture was going to be really big. I think it's so cliche for a new coach to come in and change the culture, right? Everyone kind of says that, but I really felt like it was needed here to kind of get to the level that we want to get to, and so changing the culture, getting guys that are like-minded, that want to go out there and try and shoot 65 every day, guys that want to play on tour, guys that are I say really kind of like golf guys, right, with a high golf IQ and want to learn to get better and will do anything to do that, and aren't afraid to win and shoot low. Were the guys that I wanted to do this with, but also guys that are going to have fun.
Yeah.
Right. We were coming back on Saturday from a trip up in Northern Virginia, DC area, where I just took the team up there to play and do a little qualifying. And on the way back, we've got the music going, we're in our Sprinter van, and one of our guys is dancing in there, and it was just such a fun atmosphere, right? And I was, my assistant coach Luis and I, kind of looked at each other and just kind of grinned and was like, this is what it's about right here.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. Like, these guys are fun to travel with, right? And they're fun to hang out with. So, so it's just really building good players, good people,
chemistry.
That's right. Chemistry, like-minded. Will they fit in this system? So I'm not the coach for everybody. I know that. Right. But I feel like I do have some stuff I can bring to the table. So if it's something that you're willing to eat at that table, then let's go.
What's the percentage of kids that get recruited outside of the US? Is it higher than I think? Like, are there a lot of like Europeans and
tons,
Yeah, that's a good question. I was gonna ask you that, A-Dub, because like say Bryce or like with when Bryce has played like in the Ontario Hockey League,
Right.
Canadian Hockey League and stuff up here, so they would have like the import draft, right? So there's a
Yeah,
certain
we were
amount
only
of
allowed 2 imports per team though.
Really?
yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously college is different. You're allowed as many as you want, right?
As you want. I've got 4 internationals and three Americans on the team.
Okay, and then just not so much just for your team, but all of NCAA. It's a pretty high percentage, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty good percentage of
Yeah. Okay.
international players, and you look at, the success that like Oklahoma State have. They get a lot of international players, right? With the Victor, Hovlands and all those guys that have gone there, and a bunch of the Swedes. And you look at ASU's team, they've got a lot of internationals. We just talked about David Puig, from Spain going, and
Rom.
yeah, and John, and they got a lot of international players there as well. So it is becoming a really a global game in college golf.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I think that's we just got about a 10-minute clip there of the recipe of success for A-10 2022 recruiting strategy from the coach of the year. So if Bryce goes dark here, he takes a blow dart in the neck or something like that. We know he's
Well,
out.
he said he likes ball strikers that can't putt. So like, I mean, I'm his guy.
Yeah, might be, might be. Can you, AW, you mind taking us kind of through maybe what your day looks like as a coach on the D1 level? Kind of what's on your mind. Let's do like an off day, even like an off day, a prep day, something like that first.
Oh, so you're saying I have an off day?
I I mean, like when the
Oh, I
guys are
love it.
actually, I guess your off day would probably be more or less like when they're playing. It'd probably be an easier day for you than it would be when you're kind of doing all your prep, right? So
I've always been someone that did well when I'm really busy, right? I
right,
don't do well idle, so I would say I probably do more golf stuff on an off day than I do on a golf day, right? I just everything I've always done my whole life is involved golf because I love it.
Mhm.
And so, like today, for instance, woke up probably about 4 a.m. Um, and returned some emails, a little bit of recruiting. There's a little bit of recruiting goes on every single day. Setting up our tournaments for next year already. So the VCU shootout, I'm already setting up for next year, right? We just got done with it 5 days ago or something like that. So,
yeah,
um, did a little bit of that. Set up some fundraising dinners for some donors. A lot of I think what goes on at the D1 level is donor relations, right? A lot of more of the politics of the sport. Um, Had to go out. There was actually a fundraiser tournament that a group that does some sponsorship stuff with VCU with Learfield had, and so showed up there. Shake hands, kiss babies for a little bit. Played a couple holes with a couple people, like 3-4 holes. Ate a little sandwich on the way to the golf course, and then the guys qualified, and I actually today was the first round of golf I've played since goodness, probably right before the US Open.
wow,
And so I went out, played with the guys a little bit. They were qualifying. Some of the guys that weren't, I worked with them. We had a really good mental session today, I think, out there on how to control it when it's not quite going your way. And the guys did unbelievable job of turning around some not so good starts in their rounds to still shooting 69, 70, 71, which was really good. And then come home and I'm on a podcast with some pretty cool cats right now. Uh, I can get
hey,
I can get you guys on there later.
yeah.
And
Oh, oh, there's like another one going on right now. Damn,
so,
they're
and then
asking some good questions. Those guys, though, they're doing all
yeah,
right.
and then I'll work on some some more stuff about building the schedule when we get off. And then at 10 o'clock tonight, I've got an investment call with 3 of my college buddies that I went to school with, to Pepperdine with. We do some investing together. So at 10 o'clock at night, I'll have that, and you know, probably sleep for 13 minutes and wake up and start over again. And
Yeah.
that's the life. I mean, it's pretty busy. It's not, the life of a coach is the ones that have stayed married longer than me. Mine didn't last too long, but the ones that actually stay, I mean, I kudos to their spouses and wives, because it's not easy. We're not easy to be with. I mean, we're constantly on the go, and when you're a coach, you got to answer that call sometimes at midnight, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, you got to go where like the job is too, right? Sometimes that means, like in your case, recently moving across country, and I'm that investment call, that just sounds like a poker game. Like you guys are just playing some online poker or something together, probably, right?
I wish it was, man. Now we're actually investing in some real estate together, and some of my I call them my brothers. They're guys we've been close since college, and one played tennis, one played basketball, he played in the NBA a little bit, and the other was a musician, and so we thought it was cool to kind of get together and do some investing together, and get some properties, and do something to leave it for our kids. Try to build a legacy for
For
our
sure.
kids a little bit bigger than maybe we walked into.
So you did mention sorry, Bryce, or you did mention a little bit of like the recruiting goes on each day. So when you were at Lynn before, was there any access to that transfer portal in D2?
Yeah, yep, there is
Okay.
an access to it in D2. And so I did get one player from the transfer portal. No, I'm lying. I got two players from transfer portal when I was at Lynn. A kid from University of South Florida transferred over, and a kid from University of North Texas that's still on the team now. Their number one player over there, came. And so yeah, but there was more about kind of getting guys in as freshmen and developing them, and and helping them grow. Here, there's a little bit of that, but it's a little bit, it's a little more kind of cutthroat, little dog eat dog here. So I had to get some dogs in here that could go.
So
Right.
so like when a player, they would enter the transfer portal on their own, are they feeling like they're not like fitting in with that team? They're not getting enough playing time. Is that typically what it is? And you're kind
It's
of
essentially free agency, no?
yeah.
Kind of open free
Kind
agency.
of, yeah. It's open free agency. I don't know. I like it because I was successful at it, but I don't know if they've done it the right way, and they keep changing the rules on it. Like, I guess this week now kids can't go in until December 1st, and they can't go in again after January until May, until June. I don't know. Now they're putting parameters on it. It just started like this week, right?
Right.
It's like they're just kind of throwing darts at the wall and trying to see what sticks, and go, okay, that's what we're going to do next week, because they're making a bunch of hasty decisions. But I think there's a variety. I think there's that, maybe they're not getting playing time. Maybe they don't feel like they're developing. Maybe they're just not in the right system for them. Maybe it's not the right culture. Maybe they connect. You got to think, when we're playing with a lot of players. I'm a guy who walks with the player the whole round, right?
Yeah.
I don't sit on par threes or skip and see you for two holes. I don't feel like I can make a difference. So if I'm walking with somebody, the other players are getting to hear our camaraderie. They're getting to hear our talk. They're getting to hear what we do. And I feel like if somebody who's a player is around me for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours in a day, you're gonna pick up some pretty cool shit, right? Or sorry, I mean some pretty cool stuff. So you're gonna pick up some good stuff there, and it's going to, you're gonna want some more of that. And I feel like I could talk a little bit different to my players, and I think some of my experiences are gonna, I'm gonna be a little more keen and a little more aware of certain things that are kind of player centric. So so that'll kind of lead them as well. And so I think there's a variety of reasons why people want to go play and in different places. So it's been, some people absolutely hate the portal. I love it right now. It's
Yeah. Well, yeah, if it worked
Treating
out
you
right now.
well.
it treated me well.
Do you think that you're sorry, Bryce,
You're good.
last part to this, and then
You're
you can
good.
hop in. You think that kind of the way you approach uh I guess your player development, like the way that you're developing your players, do you think that that is kind of like that as like a chain effect or like a waterfall onto the way your players act? So we've probably had, Bryce and I could do a quick guess, maybe 15 NCAA players on, and we've heard, you know, some players say that they love the team aspect, and some players feel like they were like kind of loners, right? And they didn't really like fit in. So everybody has like a different approach to it. And it sounds like you were saying you guys were driving back from one of the events. Everybody was super tight. Like it sounded like a real team atmosphere. Do you think, Andy, the way that you kind of develop the players is really important in them kind of working together as a team, or are you constantly like trying to teach them too, like the individualistic part of the game of golf as like a singular player, right?
Well, that's a great question. I think what we did this year is it's about us, right? And I haven't really shared with anybody outside of our team, but I put a video together, about a 10-minute video. You should see my editing skills. They're off the chain. I did it all just but it is about individually how good all of us are, right? So the players, I had them send swings and pictures of them winning trophies, and everyone had like 10 really good swings because these guys, I mean, I got 10 guys that swing at it so good and hit it so good. So it was like swing, 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 them holding a trophy. Swing, 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 them holding a trophy. And in the background, that song is, you know, all I do is win, win, win.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, and then of me winning an NCAA championship, me playing on tour, and me winning NCAA championships, coaching, and the same with my assistant coach. And then it kind of ends with like, why not us?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you were picked for this for a reason, right? And so they, you know, getting them bought on, that becomes early. I need guys that are about the team. I tell everyone what really shaped my view as a coach is, you know, you mentioned Jason Gore earlier. When we won the NCAA championship in '97, Jason made a 7 on the last hole. He had a one-shot lead at NCAA's, which, you know, pretty much means if you win NCAA's, you're getting your 7 starts on tour, you're going to be on a Walker Cup automatically, all this things that go along with it, probably bigger contracts, yada, yada, yada. He makes 7 on the last hole, and he knew what that cost him. And the first thing he did when he putted out is he looked over at us and he looked at me and said, "Did we win?" Right? It wasn't about him. It wasn't about him pouting and throwing clubs and what did I do? He just wanted to make sure we won. Like hopefully I didn't mess this up for us. Did we win? And it was, and after we said yes, he was like perfect. And we celebrated and hugged and cried and did our thing. And then later that night, he was like, "Oh man, what the hell did I just do?" Right? But the thing is, it was a team first mentality.
Yeah.
We went there to win as a team. We went there to win an NCAA title as a team, and we accomplished that goal. And the guys I have right now, it's so much about team, right? It's about being ready when your number is called to contribute to the team. And it's about, you know, so many things that are, you know, why not us is our hashtag. And so, and the us part of it is probably the biggest, you know, aspect of that. So, and I think a team takes on the character of their coach in adversity as well, right? And so if I'm somebody who's pissed off or panicked or looks nervous or looks confused when things get tough, the team's going to take on that same you know, characteristic. And so it's my job to be poised. It's my job to have the answers. It's my job to when I come in there, they know everything's going to be okay. And so, and this team is really seeming to buy into what we're, you know, to what we're trying to create here.
I love that you made that video because I always remember like come playoff time in hockey, we'd put our video together to have on the jumbotron like before we came out on the ice, and we'd always wait to watch it. Like we'd watch it first in the room before kind of the first game, and I just remember everyone would get so fired up, and then just seeing you like your whole team come together and play like that, it's a pretty cool feeling.
I feel like I need to put together like me hosling a few shots on my, you know, Saturday morning league, and then at the end of it, like I won. There was 2 skins last week, so I won some big money off of that. Just holding like a few bucks in my hand or something like that at the end. Yeah, that's all we got to look forward to now.
You made a hole in one with your son, dude.
Yeah, man, that's the one that'll be the ending point, right? So bringing him out for a round, making an ace with him there is kind of the ending point. Yeah, but sorry, Bryce, or go ahead.
I just wanted to get into maybe some of the players' daily routines, and I know they all have class at different times, I'm sure, but kind of just like the day in the life of what they do daily and how they practice and how they get ready for tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, so Tuesdays, Thursday mornings, they're up early. We got 7 a.m. workouts. So they do that, you know, as a team. Then they have classes mostly between 8 and 9 to 12:30 ish.
Okay.
Right, and then we have practice at 1:30 every day. Um, Mondays we are at our facility that's downtown. We call it the First Tee facility. It's First Tee of Greater Richmond. We have some hitting bays there. It's where we have our a track man and all that kind of stuff. We do a lot of short game work there. There's like a six par three holes there that Lester George redesigned that built Kinlock and some of the greater clubs here. So we'll do that. What I really like is this team likes to play a lot. They're not just a bunch of ball beaters, right? So Wednesdays and Fridays, like I said, we're over at CCV when you're asking about our home course. Today we were over at Jefferson Lakeside Country Club. We go up to Willow. On the weekends, a lot they'll go up to Royal New Kent, which is about 30 minutes away. A link style golf course, really hard, long. Another one, Vinatera, that's up there right up the road in New Kent. So we do a lot of, but like yesterday, like I said yesterday, we spent a couple hours game planning with Lanto, right? So I feel like a lot of our best practices come when we're not on the golf course, to be honest. When we're inside, we're indoors. There's a single focus. There's not people hitting shots that distract you or the birds chirping or whatever. We're in a room and we're talking about adversity. We're talking about confidence. We're talking about, tendencies. We're talking about game planning. We're talking about the mental, emotional side. I mean, I'm going to learn something just as much being around them every day in those situations, listening to the words that they use so I can use them back to them to help them. But Lanto said something yesterday that I thought was brilliant. He said, you work hard to build confidence, and then you got to protect your confidence when you're playing. And that had to do into having a smart game plan, right? It had to do into hitting it to the fat sides and not short siding yourself, and hitting the shots that you're comfortable hitting, not the ones that you think you should be hitting, the ones that you can hit. And so it was very poignant in what he said. And so then after practice, they go study, eat, and we're back at it. I mean, there's not a lot of free time, playing college sports, but especially college golf, because we don't really have an off season, right? We play fall and spring. Most sports have just, they're playing fall or spring or winter. We go all year. So, so it's a pretty good commitment.
Do the guys spend quite a bit of time together, like away from the course?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They all live together. Yep. So everyone, there's not a single person on this team that lives by themselves. We've got three in one apartment. We've got two in another. So all of them live together. They hang out together, which I love, man. I love that they're so close and spend as much time as they can together.
Well, that's like, have you ever heard Chad's living situation, Mac?
Yeah.
So my brother plays for Indy Fuel, an East Coast hockey team, and they the team owns an apartment. The whole team stays in one facility, one apartment.
Yep.
Wives, kids, everything, and it's just like it's
right next door to the rink too, I think, which is kind of nice for them. It'd be
it's connected to their practice rink, but it's just a cool scenario, and the team's always together. Everyone's so close.
Yeah.
So I did want to ask you, Andy. We'll let you go soon. I know you got your meeting coming up in like an hour, but like you've had a lot of success early. What like internally, what makes you feel successful as a coach?
I mean, not only winning, obviously that's what you're playing for. I mean, is to win. But to there's no better feeling than to see a guy smile on the golf course, right? Because he maybe did something that he didn't know he could do, right? Or he pulled off a shot, or he grinded out a round, or he stuck to a game plan, or whatever it was, and he kind of maybe changed the cards he was dealt, right, a little bit, and did something successful. I mean, there's nothing better than that. I mean, goodness, I feel like there's not much I can do that I wouldn't feel successful. I mean, I get to wake up every day and share my experiences with guys that want to do what I did, right? I mean, and get paid for it, right? So I've got the I've got the best freaking job in the world. I mean, I couldn't. There's nothing better than what I get to do on a daily. And so, is it busy? Yep. But the alternative is not being busy doing something around golf. And so there's no aspects of golf that I don't absolutely love. And but it's doing exactly what we're doing right now. I mean, I think we're ranked 63 or something in the poll that just came out today. This time last year we were 187.
Wow.
Right? So it's like, guys, guess what? We keep doing we keep getting 1% better every day. We're going to be a tough team to deal with at the end of the year. And so, that's a great question. I don't know what success, looks like. I know.
Well, I don't know, man. I see this kid Charlie Kennedy walking up, picking out a hole in one, and he looked pretty happy, man. So,
how good is that? I mean, how good does that look? I mean,
that's such a cool clip, man. There's just, Bryce, you gotta go check it out on VCU. He's just like
Twitter,
VCU Golf over on Instagram. So he's just kind of walking up, and he just like has just made an ace, and he just looks, I don't know, he looks kind of like, it's hard to explain. He looks like Matthew McConaughey or something like that, like just like starring in a movie or something. It was cool, man. It's a really cool moment. Like, and it's like I'm lucky to know what that feels like, and it's an unbelievable feeling. But it's kind of like one of those things, man. When we grab that moment in golf, it's hard to beat that. It's hard.
I mean, and Charlie is, he's a good-looking kid, right? I mean, he's got swag, right? Like Charlie's is dripped out, right? It's the first round of the year in his hometown. He's got people out there watching him, and Charlie's the guy. He won there as an individual last year, and in front of everybody on number 10 with everyone looking, Charlie boxes one for hole in one. It's like it's so Charlie to do that,
sweet, man.
Right?
That's sweet.
And so it's just we got this kind of this little thing that we do, and when he hits a good shot or he makes a putt, he kind of steps and gives a little, and so it's just so cool just seeing the guys look over and do that to each other, or kind of wave me down so they can give us our little hand signal or whatever it is, our little wave of success. And it's it's cool. But to be honest, success, I mean, I want to win a national championship. Right? I've done it as a playing junior college. I won a national championship playing. I won one playing a D1 at Pepperdine. I won a few of them, junior college coach. Won again, D2 coach. And so there's only one left, man.
Yeah.
There's only one left, and I'm going to run the tables on it, right, and make history. Ain't nobody won that many damn national championships at different levels. So I don't think anyone has many at different levels I have already. But with the, I think that the ultimate goal is to build a team and get them to buy in and do what we're not supposed to, right? Again, kind of our hashtag, why not us?
I like it. I think I just got our episode title, A-Dub, the most decorated NCAA coach in men's golf history, or something along those lines. We'll
if you don't know, you better ask them about it.
Yeah, exactly. But it is cool, like how Bryce and I, like, we love a good hole-in-one story. Like, everybody we kind of talk to, if they've got a hole-in-one, or if they've got a few, we just kind of love talking about it, right? And that's sort of like, I'm at the point where that might be where I measure the success of my game, is like making a really good shot and, like, kind of find that smile. Bryce likes to, go low on the scorecard, something like that. Like, I can shoot
relatively low. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like with me, I can shoot a 73 tomorrow and I can shoot an 88 the next day. And like, I don't know the difference, but I remember those really good shots. Right. Or I remember if I chipped in a couple times, so that's kind of like where I'm at. And like, obviously these guys, when they're shooting 65, 66, 67, 68, stuff like that, if they're making good shots in between, which they are, they get those memories as well, which if you get to see that as a coach would be a measure of success for me, I think too. But if we got a couple minutes, if we can kind of move off of the NCAA really quickly, I know one of your good buddies is Jason Gore. So he's kind of taken on like I guess like a liaison or a mentorship, almost kind of like between the players and he's reporting directly to Jay Monahan, I believe, at the PGA Tour, right? So, and I think Jason Gore's got a 59 too, doesn't he?
Sure does.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about him having a 7 there on the final hole, but he's obviously rebounded. I know that popped in my head that he's got a 59, but
Yeah.
you know, what do you think about I guess pro golf right now and kind of where the status is in the world, and you know, I know you're good buddies with Jason Gorse. You probably have a good insight on what's happening. Like, do you think we're trending in a good direction here?
Man, that is. I tell you what, golf is in the news,
It is.
right? And so I love that, right? I mean, it's a sport I care about. I don't care about any other sport being in the news. I'm sorry to, I'm sure you guys like hockey, but it's about golf for me, and it's I hate that I love that they're creating rivalries right now. I hate that
it's so rough.
it's yeah, my thing, it's still golf, guys. Like,
Yeah,
the bottom line, ain't nobody out there on tour that hard. They can talk all the noise they want. Like, they're all kind of punks, right? They're like,
yeah, Bryson taking a rope to the eye and taking a knee for a few
yeah,
minutes.
like,
It's
it's
validating. It's validating that
as
statement
many,
for sure.
yeah, as many weights as they're lifting and all that, ain't nobody out there like gangster, right? And so it's like everyone's talking all this noise behind closed doors, what they're gonna do to that person when they see him. It's like, y'all ain't gonna do nothing. Shut up and go make a birdie somewhere, right? But at the same time, it just seems like there's a lot of hypocrisy as well.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't know of anyone that ever went to a job interview and when they gave them the job offer, they said, "Well, where'd you get the money from to pay me that?"
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, everyone cares about where these people are getting their money from when they've got maybe the same company that makes all their money in that same company on their sleeve.
Such
right?
a bad clip. Such a bad clip.
Yeah, it's like, it's everyone is, got an opinion. But with that being said, I am a traditionalist in this game, right? I like the PGA Tour. I like 72 holes. Walking. I don't know if I'm solely, and I'm a college coach, so the team aspect I really love about golf.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have quite bought in or sold on the team aspect of it, but who am I to tell? I mean, there's good friends of mine that went over. I mean, Harold, just went over.
Yep.
And Joaquin Neiman's getting paid $100 million. That's my boy. It's like, dude, $100 million. No one's not entertaining that, right?
Yeah.
Now, Tiger didn't because he don't make his money playing golf.
Right.
So he made his money doing, everything else in the endorsements and the global impact that he had on the sport. So, but I just think, for chastising or pointing fingers at someone for a decision to make, whether it's to stay in the PGA Tour. I tell everyone this: if you want to stay in the PGA Tour, whatever your reasons is, you're right. And if you want to go play live, whatever your reasons are, they're right, because they're your reasons, your decisions, and you've got to live with that at the end of the day. And but I know one thing the Live Tour has done is it's made, there's more money in the PGA Tour now.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So what maybe what needed to get accomplished, I don't know if that was a way of doing it. But I don't really care what the motivation is, right? I tell everyone, when my son was a couple of years ago, I'd go into his room every day before basketball camp, and I'd be like, "AJ, dude, clean your room." Like, I'm so sick of saying it. One day I go in there and I'm about to say, "AJ, clean," and I look at it, and his bed's made, and his room's clean. And I said, "Dude, you cleaned your room." And he was like, "Papa, I was just sick of hearing your mouth," right? And I was like, "I don't care what the motivation is. Your room's clean," right? So whether it was to actually clean it or not hear my mouth, your room is clean. And guess what? There's more money these guys are playing for out there. So unless they're going to turn down the money on the PGA Tour, say, "No, I don't want any more money. Don't give me any of that PIP money, or don't give me any of this," then, everyone just tee it up and play where you want to play and make some money and, live happily ever after. And hopefully there's some kind of, we talked about it earlier. I can't wait to see the Live versus PGA Tour event.
We got to get that. It's
gotta happen.
Yeah, and it's got to happen like next year too.
I need mics on every player in caddy though. Yeah. The whole round.
I think it'll be a blast.
I'm gonna go out there. Let's go out there, Bryce, and just start a bunch of noise, like, like I remember Cam, dude, Rory said your mama, you right? And
Yeah.
to like start some good stuff. But I don't know. I think it's I guess golf is ready for change, huh?
Yeah, but hey, it's like
I think whether we like it or not, it's ready. It's there. So
the good thing is we're talking about it, right? Like we never were short of like entertainment when we had Tiger playing, right? And like, golf goes through waves and here we are. Like, Bryce and I have been hosting a podcast for over 100 episodes now and it's been one of the biggest topics for the last 10. So it's been really cool and it's changed so much, right? And like, we've seen people go through like I don't know, just like waves of acceptance and stuff like that, and then more information coming out about contracts and incentivized deals and stuff like that to fit more like other pro sports and stuff. And like, I don't know, I think change isn't always bad, right? It's not like it's definitely good to get people more interested in the game. And if you want to watch it on YouTube or you want to watch it on TV, you have multiple options now, right? So, know you got to run, A-Dub. Really appreciate you taking the time. I know we took maybe more of your time than we should have, but always appreciate the chat. You guys are crushing it right now. Maybe at the end of the season we got to have you back on, or in between or something like that. See how things are going and get an update from you because it's always good to have a chat, man.
Awesome, man. No, I appreciate you guys. I mean, it's fun. Like I could sit there and talk golf, live college golf, tour, junior golf, whatever. For hours. So no, I enjoy it, man. And thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, all the best to you guys, and all your players are so good right now. We're fans, so if there's if any of them ever want to hop on for a chat and want to kind of give us that insight into college golf, let them know, send them over, get them in contact with us, and we'll have a chat.
Love it.
All right, A-Dub, thank you. Until next time, my friend. Take care.
See you guys.
Is out in my ball in the course where I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross, worst case scenario.